Where was it, in the lower section?
Maybe I should be recording.
So we lost the power? Was that?
Yeah, that replaced it. It's like 1/10 the cost and look,
It's smaller.
Oh, there it is.
it's just.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, the other one was like.
Yeah, leave it 8 o'clock.
I've seen that in other offices. Other meetings.
It was the only thing available.
Can you ask somebody? The other problem is that they just moved our
But
box
we used it for
out behind the kitchen.
all the way
To the shed. I would say about some stuff away and have stuff. Get a ball.
I think
It's great. If you don't keep one.
give it back, please. Or did you want more?
Yeah.
Okay, after I think we got it.
Did I ring the bell? Ron, I did.
Yeah, not the 745. Show my picture, so.
Yeah.
That came up as one.
Separated it out together.
Gotta have three items.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, I see. Oh, I was gonna try and get a picture of you guys, but it's time to start. Bye.
This is, made a mess back here.
You finished it all.
Good morning, everyone. As we gather today with gratitude for the gifts of leadership and scholarship, bless those who guide us with vision and inspire us through learning. May we carry forward the wisdom gained, using it to illuminate paths for others. Guide us always to serve with humility, lead with integrity, and learn with open hearts. Amen. Bruce?
Join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome back. It's been a nice 3-week break, so it's great to see everyone this morning. As is our new tradition, we have 2 cards to read about our 35th anniversary celebration. So, Emmett?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Do you visit the Dublin branch of the Columbus Metropolitan Library? When you drop books in the inside book drop, be sure to look for the gratitude sign. Our club donated $25,000 to the new library. Bonnie Collie Mailer was club president in that year, and she helped get that donation to our foundation in 2016. Did you know that literacy is one of the 7 focus areas for Rotary International? Our club has a long history of helping to improve literacy in the community. We have donated over $81,000 and countless volunteer hours to literacy and education, which does not include our annual scholarships to high schoolers. The book drive we are holding now is a great project and will encourage hundreds of kids to read.
Thank you. And one more.
When he was president, David Bentz established a member-directed budget to support causes that one or more club members were directly involved with through their volunteerism. Previous to that, the Dublin AM Charitable Foundation accepted grants from other organizations, and we had no involvement other than granting money. If you have an initiative you are passionate about, please let someone on the board know. Your ideas matter to us. David was club president in 2020 to 2021 during the pandemic. He led the team through weekly Zoom meetings and later hybrid meetings. Only 5 or 6 members attended in person for that meeting, while the Zoom screen was full. Big hand for David Bentz, who's not here.
And Holly and Jerry, if you'll come forward. We have a new member joining us today. Holly, do the introduction.
Sure. I'd like to formally introduce my friend Jerry Sy. I knew of Jerry as a student at the University of Cincinnati because he was a student body president. So he was like super cool. But I got to know Jerry when I moved to Columbus. He ran the, what's it called? University of Cincinnati Alumni Network, here in Columbus. And he sucked me into volunteering for that organization for years. So now I'm returning the favor. And he is, really excited to join Rotary, and I think he's gonna be a great, bright light for us, so. Jerry.
Gary, you have manifested qualities of both head and heart, which we hope you will share with everyone you meet. You have been and continue to be an ambassador for Rotary and for your vocation. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of living enterprise. Further, to develop acquaintance as an opportunity for service, to uphold high ethical standards in all that you do, to apply the ideal of service in personal, business, and community life, and to promote international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world of fellowship of business professionals united in the ideal of service. We also hope that you will inspire and help us to grow, enabling us to become better Rotarians. With this hope, we heartily offer fellowship through Rotary. Welcome to Rotary.
Sure, that happens a lot. Good morning, everyone. It is an honor and a privilege to be the newest member here at Dublin AM Rotary. I see all the lovely name tags, and something really struck me this morning. It's that phrase of service above self. And the opportunity to join all of you and the other members here to be able to exercise that on a regular basis, be encouraged to do that on a regular basis, and to see how we can make that a underlying tone of our entire community is super exciting for me. Everything from the polar golf outing that I hear is quite the event in February, to the different ways we in the community and abroad are helping through the library or otherwise. It just seems like a great way to use your time, talents, and treasures to make the community that you're a part of that much stronger and that much better. So thank you again, honored and humbled and excited to be part of the Rotary Club here.
So official.
And Holly, enjoy your vacation.
Thanks, I'm going on vacation now, so.
Are there announcements? Yes, Barb.
Two Thursdays in June is Rotary's Day to volunteer at the Dublin Food Pantry. So the first one is June the 12th, 9 to noon. So we have Rich Weber, Bruce Andrews, Mike Jewell, and Deb McKibbins-Varga volunteering on June 12th, 9 to noon, or 9, if you've already had a tour of the pantry, 9:15 to noon is fine, so you don't need a tour. And then also on June 26th, we have Rich Weber, Pat Clegg, Deb McKibbins-Varga, and Faye Harriet volunteering that Thursday, so. So I'll try to email you each, and remind you of that, but I just wanted to mention that today. And then July 25th, I think it is, that Rotary is going to meet at the Dublin Food Pantry that Friday morning. So a chance to do a tour if you haven't seen the pantry, to see the new bench, which is beautiful and lovely and sits out in front of the pantry that Rotary did as the Peace Project. So put that on your calendar. Thanks.
Okay, Roberta, I think you have an announcement.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody that donated books. Is Susan West here? No. She's traveling today. She's traveling. Okay. Well, thanks to Trish and Hallie who scooted out, and Susan West and anyone else that donated books. We've collected hundreds and hundreds of books. I got a note from Susan West that she has 6 big boxes of books, probably over 500, 186 donated by employees, customers, and Rotarians, and 5 boxes of books donated by Half Price Books. So, and Trish, I'm sure you collected some. I did not count them yet. I was like, by the state, we collected a number of boxes of books at the library. On behalf of the book drive as well, so I'm really excited about that, but I didn't count them yet. soon. So thanks to all of you who donated and to the literacy committee for this great initiative. I'm going to be hitting you up again to collect school supplies for One Dublin, for their backpack initiative. They get school supplies and put them in backpacks and donate them to kids in need. So we will be doing that starting next week for a month. So please don't hate me for doing this wonderful initiative and getting up here and asking you every week for something. But thank you.
Any other announcements?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to Rich for putting batteries in the microphone.
Oh. Yes, you beat me to it, yeah. Yeah. Dan, do you want to just put in a quick plug for the dinner?
Sure, yeah, installation dinner is Friday, July 11th, actually in Whisper and the veranda, so. Invite will be coming out next week. Yeah, we sent out a couple save the dates, so if you haven't put it on your calendar yet, it's Friday, July 11th. We're at.
Okay. Hearing no further announcements, our sergeant today is Kat. Hmm? Oh, Susan Robinoff.
Susan Roto.
Yeah. And
I came
Susan,
early to come to Avery's meeting, because I'm very interested in that, and there's an empty seat up there, and I said, I'll help for 2 minutes. And she stuck me with this job.
and Susan sent me an email last night. Do we have any time for Paul Harris Awards? And I thought, yeah, it's looking kind of full, but sure. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah, right, okay. We have a guest, Claudia, you want to introduce you guys, please?
I would. My guest is Christina Ward, and she's really funny what she does.
So I actually recently took on a new role, but prior to this, I worked for Huntington. I was at the Avery Northfield location. And I recently took on a new role with a private bank, so I'll be a wealth advisor for the private bank. I will cover all of Columbus, Dublin, and Worthington are my 2 areas, so you will still see me around. I will still be a friendly face, so thank you guys for having me here.
Great, welcome. John, you're gonna introduce Kevin?
I think Paige is gonna introduce me.
That's cool, all right, just so he gets introduced, that's fine. All right, I was in the Dallas airport at 11 o'clock last night. I am still on California time. I caught a cold on the airplanes. I am not prepared for this. So you guys are getting a big break. The only fine we're gonna do this morning, because we got a great program this morning, is you've been in the airport in the last 30 days, put $1 on the table. We are gonna do small pots. Is $12. Ron's up front.
$7 880.
All right, Lou, cool.
$1172,816.
Okay, you get your shot.
All right, Tom.
It's a big pot. I'm gonna let you introduce important people. I might go back to bed.
Take the mic.
Might you're gonna snore. We are.
So, Rob Page is coming up. I did say we weren't together for 3 weeks, and some of you know, I was in Spain for 2 weeks hiking the Camino de Santiago. And I met this fellow, and we got to talking about what he does and everything. And he said, oh, I work for a community bank. And I just turned to him and I said, I bet there's a 38% chance you're a Rotarian. And he said, well, yes, I am. So we decided the 2 of us had a meeting on the Camino de Santiago. So Paige, Thank you.
Does that count as a makeup?
Yes, it does.
I think it should. You're the president. You get to make those rules.
There you go. Well, welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to have the program this morning on our Dublin Schools Business Advisory Council. It's a real pleasure for me to introduce a good friend, our school superintendent, Dr. John Marschhausen. And John has with him today Kevin Patton. And Kevin Patton is a pathways counselor for Dublin Schools. I will let John and Kevin give you the full details on that, but a brief touch point on Kevin, graduate of Miami in business for several years, spent 10 or 11 years as a high school counselor at Dublin Kaufman High School, and then has taken on this new role of the pathways counselor. So Kevin, we're anxious to hear about that. I think many of you know Dr. Marschhausen, and I will save a comment or two for just a moment, but I did want to give you a very brief overview of our Dublin Business Advisory Council. About 6 years ago, I believe the state governor mandated that each of our, I think presently we have 613 school districts in the state of Ohio, and they are all now required to have a business advisory council, which is made up of the business leaders in the community. Our business council, interestingly enough, was started in 1984. Our superintendent, Joe Riedel, mandated that we have a business advisory council. And even though we didn't have our Rotary Club then, we did have some Rotary connections. That business advisory council started with 4 members. Margie Amrose is a Rotarian and was one of the first of the 4. And I was honored to be one of the other first of the 4 a few years ago. And have been honored since then to actually chair the Business Advisory Council for 4 years, 2 years with Dr. Hoadley and 2 years with Dr. Marschhausen. So we've read the bio. Suzanne, thank you for that nice piece in our announcement this morning of all the things that Dr. Marschhausen has done, from graduating Wittenberg, go Tigers, the Flyers for a master's degree, and Capella University for his doctorate. But let me give you a couple of nuggets that you may not know about. Dr. Marschhausen, in addition to being on the governor's workforce development task force, is also one of 12 superintendents that the Apple organization has a national superintendents forum. 12 superintendents. One of those is Dr. Marschhausen. The comment that I would make, John, and I would make that in any group that I have the opportunity to introduce, I don't believe, and I'm relatively involved in school things over the years, I don't think there's a piece of legislation today in the state of Ohio that doesn't pass the governor's desk in which Governor DeWine does not have immediate contact with Dr. Marschhausen on the status of this legislation. What do you think? What's the play? That workforce development component is so critical to what we will see today and in the future of our schools. And we are so fortunate to have that leadership as superintendent of our Dublin schools. So with that, Dr. John Marschhausen.
Thank you, Billy. You all know this, life's built on relationships, and I've been very fortunate over my career to have the opportunity to build relationships, Paige. And when I first came to Dublin, one of the first meetings I had was with Paige, because he is the ambassador of not only Rotary, but seemingly our Business Advisory Council and the city of Dublin. And thank you for over 4 years ago welcoming me here. And when we talk about our BAC, I was the superintendent of the Hilliard City School District for 8 years prior to coming here. We modeled our BAC after Dublin's BAC because the way this community interacts, the reason we have Emerald Campus is because of the partnership between our business community, between our city council, and between the leaders in different areas in the Dublin community. And it sets us apart. And I'm gonna introduce Kevin Patton in a moment. And I'm gonna introduce Kevin from the lens that if you've been to any of our graduations, if you've had contact with the Dublin City Schools, you know we do an elite job at preparing students for college. When you watch our graduates, and I had the opportunity to talk to returning freshmen from college who spent their first year of college, and I see them as they come back. And I say, is there any class that you went to as a freshman in college that was easier than the classes you had at our high schools? Every student to a student will tell me sitting at Jerome High School is harder than any university they've gone to. And I'm talking to graduates of Ohio State, of UC, of Harvard, Duke, Northwestern, sitting in a classroom as a senior in high school in the Dublin City Schools is harder than their freshman year of college. That's what we do. And we do it really well. But what we don't do really well yet is prepare the students who aren't going to those four-year colleges, where we need to shift. And I use the term frequently, we need to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We have to be able to keep doing what we're doing with our college-bound students. At Jerome's graduation, Mike Aron announced that Jerome High School has more national merit recognized students than 5 states.
One high school.
One high school has more national recognized students than the states of North Dakota, South Dakota, Vermont, New Hampshire, and so on. Just from Jerome. We do that really well. What are we doing with the students who go to college and don't really need to? And the students who are ready to go right to the workforce. So much of what we see today are industries and jobs where kids can go right from high school. They'll pay for your training. They'll give you the specific training. We just opened our 3rd hospital in Dublin. Ohio State's opening the largest building on campus as a hospital. Nobody has enough workers to staff the hospitals. What are we doing to help those pathways? So as we talk about what we do, you just finished year 2? Kevin has just finished year 2, where we created a position. Kevin is a former high school guidance counselor for us at Kaufman. So we needed someone who could connect to the counselors and could connect to the parents to build pathways for students to get into the workforce and into careers right from high school. We do this largely at Emerald. And Kevin's job, the task that we gave to Kevin, is create consistent messages for all 3 high schools that we can start as early as middle schools so we can get to mom and dad, so we can get to the students to say, here are the careers of the future. Here are the quickest and easiest pathways to get into those careers. Because as I sit on Governor DeWine's Executive Workforce Board, and I'm the only K-12 guy who gets to sit there, all I keep hearing from businesses and industry is we don't have workers that are prepared for these jobs, and they have lists of the jobs. So as Dublin City Schools, we want to reverse engineer this process. We want to be able to say to any business in the Columbus area, what do you need? How many workers do you need? And what are the skills you need when they leave high school? Because we want to create those pathways and those pipelines to get kids into the places that they're needed so that they can be successful. Kevin's done an amazing job. He's going to talk about some of the awesome things that we're doing at Emerald. And I always say, you can call anything a pilot. As we try new things, we'll try anything. And one last thing before I give it to Kevin as an example. Our aviation academy out at Don Scott Airport, it started with 5 students in the first year. We struggled to get kids into the aviation academy. Now, we have too many kids apply. We have to have a cutoff. We've got 50 kids in the aviation academy. And we have recent graduates from the Aviation Academy who are Colorado Springs at the Air Force Academy. We also have students who are working for Amazon developing drone delivery systems right out of high school. So when you look at, you start with something, you try it, when it works, it grows, it's successful. So Kevin's a leader in this area, and I'm going to turn it over. Please help me welcome Kevin Patton.
Thank you, Dr. Marschhausen, and thank you everyone in this room for having us here this morning. We're excited to share some of the great things that are going on in our school districts. I'm excited that I'll get some major brownie points with my father for being here. He's a longtime Rotarian in Granville, Ohio, so he's going to be really excited that I had a chance to meet so many great people here in Dublin doing the great work that you do. So I am very thrilled to be in the position I am as a pathways counselor. I get to explain what I do a lot because everyone's like, what is that? And I think it's pretty cool that we're in a school district that's willing to be progressive, that is thinking ahead. We're always looking for what does the world need, and our main mission is to prepare students for success. So I'm excited to be a small part of that operation and to be surrounded by so many great educators and to be a part of a foundation that's already in place to prepare students for that. But as Dr. Marschhausen said, our students are very well prepared for college. They're being very successful, and most of them go on to do wonderful things beyond that. But we certainly have a lot of students who get there and then realize, oh, it's not just the game of being good at school. I'm supposed to actually do something here to prepare me for life beyond this. So we're trying to create more opportunities for our students at a much earlier age to recognize the skills they're going to need to be successful in life, and not just good students and good at getting A's and B's. Because there's so much more to it. So I'm very thrilled that my job is to create more of a school-wide initiative and a culture around not just talking about college any longer, because we're never going to badmouth that. It's a great route. And if anybody knows what they want to do, and that is a big part of the education, they should go to college. But too many are going based on the name alone. Too many are going just because that's the expectation of whether their family or their friends or their community thought they should do after high school. And if they're not being honest with themselves, they can find themselves in a situation where they're collecting a lot of debt, and they're not prepared for anything beyond collecting that debt. So that's what we're trying to avoid. We don't want them going back and living at home. We want them in communities doing wonderful things. So we talk a lot about the 4 E's in Dublin City Schools. So education is a big part of that. College, I think, is the #1 thing that jumps into our students' and parents' minds. We want education to take also into those organizations that offer training programs. We want technical programs to be involved in that. We want boot camps to be involved in that. And sometimes just starting in a job and getting skills before going to college is the right path for certain students. So we're just trying to normalize those conversations a little bit more. We're trying to, as parents are in the rooms hearing what we're preparing their students for, we want them to hear something that think, wow, that probably is more my kid. I probably shouldn't send them right there. Maybe this is a great opportunity to set them up with an employer in our community who is known for preparing them before going to college. And guess what? They also have tuition reimbursement programs. We want them to be aware, if I don't really know, or my student doesn't really know what they want to do, what are the industries that need people right now? What are the healthcare industries of the world? What are the tech industries of the world? What are the modern manufacturing that students are not thinking about at all, that are in desperate need for good workers? And if you're willing to show up and learn, they'll teach you, they'll train you, and they'll pay for you to go to engage in further education if that's required for future jobs within their organization. But those are the things that we're trying to do as a school district. One of my favorite things that we've done recently is we just finished our first year with a course in middle school called Prepared for Success. So our 7th graders now, every single 7th grader in our school district, last year was the first year that every 7th grader went through this program, takes a trimester course called Prepared for Success. So this course is intended to introduce some things that many students were not thinking about until they got into high school or until they left high school. So we're trying to not only talk to them more about career opportunities that they can explore, we want them to better understand their unique strengths and aptitudes and abilities and how that connects to things that might be a good fit for them. Sometimes it's jobs they've heard of, many times it's not. So we have a really unique platform called U-Science that maybe some of you have heard of before. We've had this platform in our district for a long time, but we're being a lot more intentional about the data now. We're being a lot more intentional about getting more of our students to participate and take it. So now every single 7th grader takes the middle school version of this platform, which is, I think in middle school, they take 6 assessments that each one takes about 10 minutes or less. And at the end of it, they're really given some great data about themselves, about what are their natural talents? What are the things that come more naturally to them than maybe the person sitting next to them? And now all of a sudden, we're trying to teach them earlier how to articulate their strengths, because it's amazing. You go to, a lot of times you talk to adults in an interview and you ask them about their strengths and they have a hard time telling you. So we're trying to help kids practice that earlier, and we want them to really know what are their strengths and what are their interests and what are the things that are related to those things that maybe they've never thought about or considered. So we also want them to be realistic, because everybody wants to be a doctor, it seems like sometimes, and they don't realize what that entails. Like, are you someone that really likes school? Are you somebody that is comfortable with the things that you have to be comfortable with, the smells, the blood, the things that sometimes our kids don't incorporate with the actual job itself? So we're trying to, again, just give them more opportunities to connect with people in those roles. We're trying to give them more opportunities to go out on field trips and to meet people. And we're bringing people into our school district who can have conversations with them about what these jobs are really like. And we're just trying to be more intentional, again, about helping them understand things at an earlier age, because then when they get to high school, now that you've had the 7th grade class, you have a much better understanding, not only about careers and strengths and interests and things of that nature. We're talking a lot more about our programs that are connected to those things. So we're talking about the pathways that they have once they reach the high school level, so that they can start exploring the things that they're interested in about. So now when you go in as a 9th grader, you've had a lot more thought about, well, what are these 4 years going to look like? And I'm not just taking all the classes that my counselor told me to sign up for, and then what did my friend take for an elective? Okay, I'll take that too. We don't want that to be the system that we have in place. We want kids taking classes that are much more aligned with who they are and what they're curious about, and even just the importance of being curious. You know, so many of them sometimes are just kind of blowing through their time in our school district, when we try to help them understand this is the most incredible opportunity you'll have at this stage in your life. It's such a formation, you know, there's so much time and energy that can be spent here to learn about yourself and things that will help you in your future. But you can also just really blow through it and graduate and then be really scared because you're not really sure what you want to do. So that's the last thing. And I tell them, as someone who worked with seniors for a long time in my time at Dublin Kaufman, I've seen kids that created the most unique and incredible experiences through high school, that they were doing internships and they were taking challenging classes, but they were getting out and actually learning about things that mattered to them. And then when they graduated, they were really confident about what they were doing, whether that was college, whether that was a job, whether that was the military, or a combination of all of those things. So we're trying to help kids feel a lot more confident about their choices, and also to take some of that pressure off of feeling like whatever that first step is doesn't have to be the rest of your life. It's okay right now not to have it all figured out, but we certainly want you to have a plan in place that's really well suited to what you want on that day when you graduate. So that's what we're trying to help them with throughout their time in Dublin City Schools. When we talk about being prepared for success, we want it to be very tailored to that individual. Success means something different to every kid that graduates and every family that is in our school district. So we want to make sure that whatever is important to that student and what they want for their future, that they're prepared for when they leave. So I have a great friend and colleague in Dublin City Schools named Jennifer Hinderer, who was going to be here this morning, but she had a trip, so you get the backup presenter, which is me, but I'm very happy to be here, and she and I work very closely together. So she's our coordinator of secondary pathways and partnerships. So she really does a great job of building on what we have this incredible foundation of helping kids with workplace skills and getting experience in career areas of interest. So she's continuing to find more opportunities for students to get that type of real world experience throughout their time in Dublin City Schools. So she and I sat down before today's presentation, so I could learn about some of the things that are happening in the summer, some of the things that are in the works for next school year. So I wrote down some notes, and rather than put together a presentation slide in hopes that I wouldn't run into technical difficulties, I kind of just put it all down here. So I'll do my best not to just read from this, but I didn't want to forget any of the amazing things that are happening currently that are new to our school district. So I'll start with some of the things happening this summer. Some of you may be familiar with, the National Retail Federation's Rise Up credentialing program that our school district has really done a great job of partnering with that organization. And the reason we've done that is because it not only provides them with job skills that help them connect with certain opportunities after high school, but it provides an alternative path to graduation for some students who really struggle with some of the competency exams that the state requires. And that's our goal, obviously, is to help kids pass those tests, which is really important. But for certain students, it's just not in the cards. And in those situations, we need an alternative way to get them there. So this has been a great way to do it. And it's also a way to give students skills that are very relevant if they want to go any type of customer service or retail-based organization as for employment beyond high school or during high school. So this summer, we run a boot camp. This is our, I think, third summer that we're doing this, and it's grown every summer. I think we have about 40 students this summer from all 3 high schools that are participating. And we have teachers and staff members, and I believe a counselor who's helping to run that, and including Jen Hinderer, where they're just meeting with those students. They're training them on what it takes to pass the credentialing exam, and then they're getting them that credential. And then to add value to the program, they're actually partnered with several local employers where they're getting our students in to talk to those employers. They're explaining, here are the skills we really need, here's what we're looking for. If you would like a place to land when you graduate, this is the type of opportunity we have in our organization. So it might be at a Kroger or a Walmart or somewhere like that, where people who are very high up in those organizations usually started pretty low on the totem pole. And that's what we're trying to help them understand. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be the best at school. You just have to be somebody that works hard, shows up, and is willing to learn from us and grow with us, and we'll help get you there. So that program's been really great for our school district. And again, it's only grown and gotten better over the last several years. We're also trying to find more ways to get students who are in some of our programs at Emerald Campus into actual job type settings in our school district. So we have 3 tech interns this summer from our cybersecurity and IT academies that are working with our IT staff, that are really helping with some of the problem solving that goes on in that type of department, so that they can see what the job is like, and they're adding value to our school district in that way. So we have those 3 interns that are taking place this summer. We also have a student who's been an intern in our communications department all school year, and I've seen her continuing to do her work this summer, and she helps a lot with the social media advertising, and she's gone to events, and she's helped to promote things for that group in our, we have a great team, but they're a small but mighty team, so any help they can get from a student who is engaged in that line of work is really helpful for them as well. But just finding ways to get kids into more job-like scenarios is what we're trying to do before they graduate. So we have a teaching academy, Dublin Teaching Academy, very long-standing program in our school district, phenomenal program. We're making some great additions to that. We actually had, from that program, 18 of our students pass the certification exam to be paraprofessionals. So these are the teacher aides, the ones who go out and support the teachers. They do a lot of teaching themselves, especially with the type of experience that these students have had, because they've been in classrooms, they've created lessons, they've taught students already. And now we've got 18 of them doing our extended school programs throughout the summer, where they're working with all of our students in elementary, middle, and high school who are there for a variety of reasons to get extra help and support in subjects or areas that they might be struggling in. So we've got 18 of our students from that program who are in our district now helping peers and younger students, and it's really cool to see them connect, especially when they get to work with some of their favorite teachers from the past. It's really neat to see. So those are things that are happening. I myself am doing some extended days this summer where I'm creating some workshops for those more college-bound students. So and over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have 2 that focus on college essay writing, because a lot of students, we tell them every year, if you can get that out of the way over the summer, you've essentially eliminated a class for yourself when you start that senior fall semester. And so we are really just trying to help them get a jump start, brainstorm, think about the ideas that are going to land really well to the people who are reading them, so that it doesn't just kind of seem like something that was done last minute, and it doesn't kind of seem like a story that's been told over and over again to these admissions reps that read thousands of these sometimes. So we've got college admissions reps coming to help from Ohio State and Ohio Wesleyan. We've got multiple staff members in our school district. Jen Hinderer is a former English teacher, so she's helping me with that. She's really excited to get to use some of her old English teaching skills to teach that program. But we're going to do that on the 18th and the 25th of this month. And then in August, after the Common App officially becomes open, we're going to run a Common App workshop for students who want to try to get an early start on that college application process. So they can finish that hopefully and be ready to hit submit shortly after the start of the school year. And that's a pretty good place to be as a high school senior, especially when a lot of them haven't even thought about that until that fall, and then they feel pretty stressed because they have all their classes on top of it. So trying to give them opportunities to get an early start. So some of our updates for the upcoming school year. So I could be here all morning talking about all the different ways we give students experience in different career areas of interest. So I'm going to focus on the things that are on the horizon that we've not done before. So we've got pre-apprenticeships in our coffee centers and our coffee shops. So all of our high schools have coffee centers and coffee shops. And we have a lot of our students who have various learning challenges and needs that are in there getting employability skills. So they might have some staff members helping them, some are very independent, some might be getting a lot of help and support. We have a lot of our peer students in there working with them. But now we have programs set up for these students to get hours that will go towards certain credits and certifications that will help them graduate. Because again, sometimes those students struggle with some of those exams that the state requires. And now we have very relevant means for them to get experience that will help them in life, but will also take a barrier out of their way to reach that graduation diploma at the end of their time in Dublin City Schools. So that's happening, across all 3 high schools in those 2 areas. We've got an exciting partnership coming up for our engineering academy with the University of Cincinnati. So I have no ties to the University of Cincinnati. I know I've heard, your newest member there Jerry has some ties there. It's the school that I didn't go to, but it's the one I promote the most in our school district. And it's because they're the pioneers for the co-op programs. And if hopefully you're familiar with that, and if not, it's a phenomenal way of getting students experience that help them not only find a job, but a job that's a good fit for them. Because students are actually in many of their programs going out and taking full semesters out of their schooling, not to stop learning, but to go and really learn what jobs are like that they're going to school for. So if you're in your 2nd year, I'll give you an example. A young lady who graduated from Dublin, Jerome, she was someone who went to the University of Cincinnati. I think she just finished her 3rd year, and she's doing some incredible things where her 2nd year, she went out to San Francisco for a co-op in a design firm. And then she got to go to Salt Lake City, Utah in her her junior year, where she worked on some incredible marketing campaigns for the NHL, which she was a huge hockey fan. So she's paying in-state tuition, she's in this great design school, but really what's going to help her land in her dream job is these co-ops. So these are things that I always talk a lot to our students about, is just if you go to college, make sure you're looking for those opportunities to get these types of experiences, whether it's at UC or somewhere else. But those are the things that we want to make sure that our students are aware of. So we're partnering with UC for our engineering academy. By the time they finish that program, they'll have all but one course they need for their 1st year of engineering requirements through UC and OSU. So that's a really exciting program. Our Healthcare Professionals Academy, at the end.
Well, I'm going to allow some time for questions.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Such great stories.
Yeah. It's all good. Chatty Patty can be my nickname. It's all good.
Does anyone have any questions for John or for Kevin? Yes, please. Are you coordinating things with tolls?
Absolutely. So great partner, longtime partner with Tolls. So I've done a lot of events recently where we are trying to create not college fairs and job fairs, but something that is more of a pathway fair. So we invite a lot of college leaders, we invite representatives from Tolls, we invite our military representatives that are in the area, we invite employers who can speak about programs designed for students who are, coming out of high school looking for a place to land. So we're trying to make sure Tolls is a big part of our pathways conversations, because as career tech is becoming more and more of what employers are saying, these are the skills we want. We're trying to be more creative in how we are incorporating that type of education into what we offer. So certainly, yes, Tolls is a big part of how we do that, but we're also looking for ways to bring more career tech into our school system as well. Yeah, we're big. They've been great partners for us for a long time. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question. How is your collaboration with OSU, for example, the electrical engineering, the implementation?
Well, that's a great question. So we have a great relationship with OSU. I don't know about for that program specifically, but through our College Credit Plus program that the state provides for all high school students, we are by far and away the #1 school district for students who are earning credits through OSU as high school students. So we have over 100 students every year that are enrolled in a program it's not something that anybody can get into. You have to be very prepared and have certain qualifications that make you a good candidate for that. So we do have many students who are earning credits through OSU and working with their advisors in addition to their high school advisors.
I would say OSU is the hardest institution to work with. There is a bureaucracy and barriers, and as someone who is on faculty in the education department, I can't get them to do things that places like UC will bend over backwards
OU here, Miami, we have a meeting with Miami coming up about some potential partnerships. Ohio State is the gorilla in the room, and they don't care what we want to do. They come to us when they want things, and they're very difficult to work with. Yeah.
Yes, Columbus State, connection with Columbus State. They offer programs like that. I remember they had a 2-year degree, but they offer like technical degrees.
Oh, yeah, it's a great partner for ours. Actually, the next thing on my bullet was, I only had a few left, so I was getting close. So it's our Healthcare Professionals Academy is our newest program, and it's through Ohio Health and Columbus State. So students are actually getting lab certified through Columbus State coursework. And then they're having Ohio Health guest speakers come in for a semester. And then the whole second half of the year, they actually take, I think this year they took 4 or 5 field trips at least, all of the students in that program to Ohio Health to visit various parts of the hospital, to meet with different roles. So I got to go on a couple of those field trips, and it was incredible. And so our students are getting really a great firsthand look at different jobs, and they're getting certified through programs like Columbus State so that they could jump right into a role that those entry-level roles in healthcare. If you can get into those, they really want to hire people. They're giving sign-on bonuses, and then they have great tuition reimbursement programs for those kids who are looking for opportunities to get help paying for college. So we're definitely trying to educate kids about that opportunity for sure.
If Jen were here, our vision for the future is to have more of our students graduate with associate's degrees and high school degrees at the same time. Because there's so much coming with Columbus State that we believe we're going to start to see it become regular for Dublin grads to have their associate's degree from C-State and their high school degree from us almost simultaneously. So if you bring us back in 2 years, and you see me all the time, that's where we want to be.
John's relationship with Dr. Harrison at Columbus State is just, it's opened so many doors. And if I could just throw one segment, our National Retail Association that you started with, Kevin, Dublin City Schools won the national award several years ago from the National Retail Foundation. And a lot of that relationship started with our VAC.
And Gordon Goff, who's a community member. Some of you know Gordon. I got to do podcasts with the CEO of Walmart, and one of the reasons that we have so many kids now who, as part of this, are connected with Walmart was the conversation that I got to have with their CEO. Kroger's a huge partner with that program. So those relationships matter when it comes to how we can connect our students and create those pathways. I took Dave Harrison through Wright Elementary, Davis Middle School, and Scioto High School, because he thought all of our students looked different than they really look. And to show our diversity and to show that he's like, oh my goodness, he said, this looks like the United Nations. Yeah, it does. And we have food pantry programs now that have mobile summer food pantries for those students. If you don't know that Dublin's this economically and culturally diverse, I wanted Dave to see that, because that matters if we can get that associate's degree for those kiddos. For them, that's huge, and that's very different than a family for whom the bachelor's degree isn't the end of education. They're going to need advanced degrees. We've got to be able to do all of this in Dublin, and it's fun. It's cool work.
John, Kevin, thanks for filling out. And thanks for all the great work you're doing and for the passion that both of you shared with us today that will lead us well into the future. So we look forward to that day too. And thank you for bringing this topic to
My pleasure.
Yep. Next week's program is Chaz Brento, Dublin Entrepreneurship Center. Pardon me. Our closing quote: leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Have a great week. Take care.